So I am coming on live really quick because we have been talking about Sickle Cell Awareness Month, which is the month of September. Today I am outside and I am sitting at a caboose, and the background color is red in representation of Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So all month on my channel, guys know I've been coming in bringing you some content and just talking about sickle cell. And today I just wanted to come on and just chat really quickly live. I really live in a rural area, so at my house, my signal is terrible, so I never get to come live. And so today, I participated in a Walk for Life event for I am a member or one of the board members for our local pregnancy support center, supporting pregnant women and supporting life. And so they had their walk today. And so it was really nice weather. I'm always trying to do things that line up with the will of God for my life. And so I was like, since I'm live and I'm going to be in town, I am going to come on and post something really quickly just to have a chat about sickle cell. I don't know if any of my followers will be able to join me live, but I just wanted to come on and chat a little bit about sickle cell. So today I wanted to talk about sickle cell disease and life expectancy. The average life expectancy for a person that has been diagnosed with sickle cell disease is between the ages of 42 and 47 right now, deemed so by the National Hematology Association. And so those are the ones that typically treat people with sickle cell. And so that's the age life expectancy. So my life expectancy that they told me as a teenager was 40. And I always stressed about that. I always worried about, will I make it to the age of 40? It was always something in the back of my mind. But guess what, you guys? I made it. I'm way past 40 now, and I am just living my best life with my SS. Even though sometimes it tries to, come and take over. But I'm like, no, you're not taking over, because I believe in my healing through the Lord. That's what he promised me. He said, by my stripes you are healed, and I know that I am healed. Now, in this world right now, at this time, if I go to the doctor and they run my blood, I'm not sure, because I'm claiming one day when I go there, when they do run my blood, that they're going to be like, oh my goodness, you have normal cells. Like, we have no idea what happened, And so I never claim that when I'm talking about my sickle cell or my sickle cell friend. But right now, let me say this. The last time I went to the doctor, the sickle cell, I still was diagnosed with sickle cell. I have an upcoming appointment. I don't know if I'm going to be diagnosed with sickle cell or not, because, I'm expecting for them to say that. But my life expectancy that they gave me when I was younger was 40, and I always thought about that. Like I said, I'm way past that now. I'm so happy about that. I am getting ready to celebrate my 50th birthday coming up in May, so I'm so happy. But right now, the oldest person here in the world with sickle cell disease is 94. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me what God can't do, So I know when I was younger, a lot of people used to be like, well, Kavonda, my friends and stuff, oh, you don't smoke and you don't drink. It wasn't because I didn't have the desire to do those things, because I did, but I desired my life more because I was diagnosed with sickle cell. So I didn't do certain things that my friends were doing because I didn't want anything to impact me more than what I already had going on. And so I really do believe me making those decisions when I was younger helped me get past my life expectancy, because I was using the wisdom of the Lord when the Holy Spirit was telling me, no, don't do this, and no, don't do that. Now, I've been a Christian. My parents took me to church, always been a church goer, I should say that. I always knew about Jesus, but I became a Christian, a true Christian, at the age of 23. After I had my second child, which they told me I would never be able to have children. That's a whole nother conversation. But once I had my daughter, I took a real bad turn in terms of my health, to the point where I was hospitalized for a couple of months. I lost my vision for about a week or two. They couldn't get the fever down. I stayed on an ice bed, and I just was really, really sick. And it took me a long time to recover from that episode, the sickle cell episode, to the point where I had to move back home to be closer to my family. I was living in Virginia with my now husband, and we had our daughter, and I had my best friend there for support, but I didn't have any family. And so we ended up moving back to my hometown, which was Alabama, where I had supports, and my family was amazing, and they helped me through that time. And I would say I really didn't get back up on my feet to start back working or to start back doing a lot of things until around maybe I was like 33, 34, somewhere around up in there. So that was a long haul, about 10 years or so, that I was really sick and I couldn't do much. And I think I talked about this on my last video in terms of like care. That was during the time when I received that care when I was disabled, and I was receiving Social Security disability, and my care wasn't as great. And of course, I tried to avoid the hospital at all costs and really manage my pain and stuff like that at home, and just took my time. And my mom was amazing in helping support me with my children. My aunts, I couldn't do that without them, my uncle. But it was a lot of great things that happened also during that time. I got closer to the Lord during that time. I, got married during that time. I was able to stay at home and homeschool my children and see them grow and just be very active in their lives during that time. I'm outside, you guys, so you guys might hear some of the background noise. So that was definitely a very trying 10 plus years that I was disabled. And I think so we ended up moving back to Virginia, and then I was better, and I think I returned back to work. I can't even remember. I was close to my 40s, maybe 36-ish when I returned back to work in the workforce. Of course, I was always working, taking care of kids and a husband, right? But I wanted to come on, and I wanted to tell you that because sometimes the depression, when you have sickle cell disease, is really real. When you go to the doctors and they talk to you about things like your life expectancy, or they talk to you about where you are right now in your low blood count, or these are the things that are going on in your body, or talk to you about your main organ functions, because people with sickle cell disease have suffer from organ failure because of the lack of oxygen sometimes we receive when we are in pain crises. You get a lot of damage to your organs, and then also a lot of the medications or the high doses of medications that we take for the pain can cause damage to your organs. So, and then just the pain of it all and not having really a support team to talk to about that. This was during the time in my life that I joined a local sickle cell chapter, because I needed to be around other people that had sickle cell disease, so I can felt like I was heard or understood. Not that my family didn't understand me, because they were so supportive, but in terms of like the pain, I don't think that they knew I was in pain, but they couldn't grasp or understand exactly what I was saying. Look at my hair, it's just flying everywhere, you guys, it's a distraction. But they didn't really understand what I was going through. So it was during that time that I felt like I got a boost, because I was going to meetings and I was seeing other sickle cell patients that were far, their medical situation was far worse than mine. They had to have some had to have heart monitors, some were on oxygen, some had so many surgeries, and that wasn't my case. I've been very fortunate with my sickle cell disease that I haven't had. You guys, I'm gonna put this back because it's distracting me. It is distracting me. Okay, I think that's better. It's just like doing its own thing. doing its own thing, you guys. And so, where's my hair tie? It's somewhere. Okay. And so during that time when I was going to the, to the sickle cell local chapter, is where I found the support that I needed to give me the push that I needed to, continue to move forward. It kind of got me out of that depression because I was depressed. I don't know if my family knew that because they were just so attentive to me. But it was like during those times, I just thought about not seeing my kids growing up because I was so sick. Sometimes I couldn't even get up and go to the grocery store, or I would have these massive headaches where I needed to close my eyes, and I would just tell I can remember one time me and my mom was going to the store, and I had got one of the headaches, and I just felt so bad, and I said, Mom, you just got to turn the car around to take me home. And of course she did, but it was during that time that I felt like at my lowest because I was so sick. And I just had my daughter at this time. She was like, I had her when I was 23. And then I got really sick right before she turned a year. And then we moved home. So my mom came and got her and took her back to care for her because my now husband was there working and stuff like that. And then we had my 5-year-old. So he was in school. And so we just made the decision to move back. So when we moved back home to my hometown and my mom was caring for my daughter, I just, it was during that time that I didn't have the energy to run after her or really to like care for her the way that I wanted to. But once after I joined the local sickle cell chapter and I saw others with sickle cell disease that were, in my mind, worse off than me because they had so many more ailments than I did. Like I didn't have as many surgeries as they did. I wasn't on oxygen. My organs were still functioning. All of those things. And so that really encouraged me to like pull myself up by the bootstraps and be like, okay, Lord, you're showing me this for a reason. And it kind of got me back on track. And I was able to go on to continue to. After that, I enrolled in school. I enrolled back in school because I had quit school when I was younger because, of course, I was sick and I was like, it was just too stressful. So I didn't want to deal with that. But during that time, I ended up enrolling in school, finished school, but it took me 7 years to get an undergrad degree and, start teaching, all of those things. And I know some people out there are saying, oh my gosh, you did a lot. That was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. But for me, people that have sickle cell, when it takes us longer to do things and we see our peers like advancing in certain situations, it's like, is that ever going to be me? Can I ever do that? And you just feel depressed sometimes because you're sick. And so depression is a real thing in people with sickle cell disease, but having supports, having local chapters, having the support of your family, and most of all, having a personal relationship with Christ because he's a healer. And once I was able to hone in on all three of those things, I picked myself up, dust myself off with the grace and the mercy of the Lord, I was able to thrive, And now I'm living way past my life expectancy age. And I always tell myself I'm late. I was late at a lot of things, like even working in the workforce because I took so many years off. Like I told you guys, that was like 10 years that I didn't work at all. I was disabled. But once I was able to overcome that, went back to school, got my degrees. I didn't go back into teaching like full time because I was already a preschool teacher, but I didn't go back into preschool, going back into the public school setting or private school setting, teaching preschool. But I started small. I worked as a assistant director for a large learning care center, and that came about because one of the pastors in my church was also an educator. She was like, hey, Kavonda, I'm leaving the school system and I'm going to work for this child care. Why don't you come over there and help me? And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then that was just like the push that I needed. And so I just wanted to come on to say, yes, the world gives us timelines. They put this stamp on sickle cell disease in terms of life expectancy. And right now, the world says the life expectancy is between 44 and 47 years old with a person diagnosed with sickle cell disease. But God has another life expectancy. As we can see that the oldest person living with sickle cell disease is 94, you know. And so I just want to encourage you guys, encourage sickle cell warriors out there, don't stop fighting. Find that one thing that's going to give you that push to bring you up out of that depression. That's going to give you that one push to bring you to say, oh, okay, I can do it. And not to look at peers that are around you, because everything is in God's good timing for you, even if you have sickle cell disease. It took me 7 years to finish a 4-year degree. Okay, but I moved on past that with the help and guidance of the Holy Spirit. You know, I'm healthy in my body. Yes, I still have my bad days. Yes, I have days where I have to take off work because I'm not feeling well. But by the grace of God, I'm able to get up every morning, even if I have to take myself a little bit slow, because it takes a little bit longer sometimes to get dressed because of the fatigue. But I'm here to tell you, you can do it. If I can do it, I'm reaching my magic number of 50. I feel like I'm far behind some of my peers, but when I really gave my life over to Christ, I gave my life over to Christ at 16. I think also I was 16, 15 or 16. And I was going through a deep depression. And I was like, I didn't fit in, and we'll talk about that in another video. Growing up as a young teen, as a preteen and a teenager with sickle cell disease. I'll come back on and we'll discuss that. But that was another time in my life where I was deeply, deeply depressed. And I just was like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with this. I'm tired of not fitting in. I'm just tired. And I sat on my bed and I prayed, because that's what they took me to, my family took me to church. I know to pray. I sat on my bed and I prayed. And the Lord told me then, and I'll never forget those words. And these were the words that continued to give me strength, even when I got to 23. So from 16 to 23, see what I'm saying? When I got really sick again, these were the words that kept me, which was, your later will be greater. And I still depend on that right now. And I live by that. My later will be greater. So I'm excited to be approaching 50 when, when people say, oh, that's rude to ask a lady what her age is. Ask me, okay? I'm so happy to tell people, oh, guess what? I'm almost 50. I'm going to be 50 on my birthday. I'm just so excited about that. And so all my other sickle cell warriors out there, I am praying for you. I am here to encourage you. Don't worry about what the world says. Do your best. Do your best. Pull yourself up out of that depression or out of that funk. Find that one thing that's going to help you, whether it's you getting involved in a sickle cell support group, following people channels that have sickle cell disease so you can hear their testimony and see how they're living full lives, and also see the bad times, because we do have bad times as people living with sickle cell disease. But it's not here to stop us. You know what I'm saying? Be encouraged. Be of good cheer. That's all I wanted to come on and say. The fundraiser is going amazing. We have raised so far $225 of our $500. We have about 2 weeks left. I will put all the information if you want to give to that fundraiser in the description box. This is a live video, so I have to go back and put all the information in. But I thank you guys for joining me. I'm so happy that I was able to come on really quick. I don't want to keep you, but I want to speak to all my sickle cell warriors out there. If you're in a deep depression, you can overcome that. If you're sitting around thinking about your life expectancy, don't worry about it, because God is in control. Okay? I am approaching my 50th birthday. I'm so excited. Get excited. What number do you want to get excited about? Put that in the chat, and I will support you and pray for you in that area and cheer you on. Okay? Find someone that you can talk to, because you are not depressed. I speak it over your life right now in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.